Seed orders have been filled, harvest is done, it's time to clean off some machinery and tweak with a couple other projects. Let's roll. We're going to be getting started with spring planting later in the episode, but I still have the tasks up at the co-op ground to take care of all that tree work. So we're going to need the JCB and the 301A, and then on the back of our 17-foot trailer, I ended up buying a set of log forks and the forestry mulcher. I'm more than likely going to be using this to just shred leaves, but we also have our chainsaw stored away in the service truck. But I got to talk about the world's greatest farm soap. And I hauled this thing up with the skid loader so I could showcase to you why this stuff is so great. You don't have to use anti-clean on just your tractor. You can use it on tractors, skid loaders, semis, you name it, it'll clean it. I never did get the tillage equipment cleaned up. My ripper's still sitting down at the Quonset. I've been waiting to use this thing for quite a while. And if you missed out on how I got this thing, I actually CAD modeled the cart for this. I'll finish up cleaning off all the equipment and we'll see you guys when we're on our way up to the co-op ground. I truly want to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning into today's video. Every episode might be someone's first, so if you want to continue to help support the channel and you like what you see, consider heading down below, clicking that like button, and maybe even smashing the subscribe button. Austin came through and helped sell a bunch of my dry corn, so I'm going to head to the dealership and pick up that seed drill. But I've been after trying to do this project for the last few weeks. Trying to fill and finish the rest of the seed orders has really taken a bunch of my time. Well, Austin's load is already on the flatbed ready to be transported. I'm just waiting for him to give me the go-ahead because no one is on the server right now. Nate is currently out on a business trip, and Austin hasn't waken up yet. Daryl shouldn't be too far behind me with my other pickup. Let's go ahead and do a scouting report, and I'll kind of show you guys what we need to do to modify this land, where it'll make it safer for our equipment to come in here and either harvest, plant, etc. For a tractor like the 301A, a lot of this doesn't affect a tractor of this size, but with the combine and especially a sprayer, we are going to have a nightmare of a time trying to get the equipment through this land safely. So I'm going to start with using the bush hog to clear the bottom area so I know what I'm working with underneath. And then we'll come in with the chainsaw and start chopping all of the low-hanging and obstructing branches that are in the way of something that could easily clip it. Could I also shorten the length of the field edge? Yes, but then I'm losing out on the amount of crop that I'm going to be able to pull out. You win some, you lose some. Well, let's see what we can do with not having to touch anything other than the trees and the grass. A good chunk of these shrubs we're going to have to get with the forestry mulcher. But the only thing I don't like about this one is that I don't have the option to turn off the shredding the ground. I believe if we had real mower in, I'd be able to take out all of this. But sadly, we do not. This area seems fine. That back corner is where I know I'm going to have to do a lot of work. And most of this should be all right. But like that tree, we're definitely going to come in and just completely take it out. It's way too close to the field edge anyway. Same for this one. Let's see what it looks like along the north side. Oh yeah, we got some branches on this side. When scouting this job out, I wasn't certain how many big trees I was going to need to take down. That's the only real reason we got the grapple forks. Heck, we could probably do ourselves a favor, and with the trees that I said we'd probably just cut them out, we could just go over there and shred it with this. Wouldn't even need to take the sticks or anything and just mulch it down. Some of the most common work I always do with the Hilberts is tree work. But usually I'm using the grapple bucket and then a set of pinchers. It's like a giant pair of tweezers. If I could just pluck these things out of the ground and then set them on the trailer, I would. But that's not how Farm Sim works. There we go. Yeah! If only it was actually that easy. Let's go ahead and take this one out as well. Before doing all of this, I did check beforehand to make sure this is not a part of wetlands and that we're not taking any sort of trees out that we're not supposed to. Everything along these tree lines is just overgrowth from never having seen trimmed or really deforestation. Having these big tree lines really does help for the windbreaker side of things. It helps prevent downed corn, but you obviously have seen the risks that it could put to the equipment and having damage costs. If you've never seen or heard of this video, I will try and find it and link it in the top right. Farmers were tasked to help plant massive lines, and I mean like miles and miles and miles of trees to help keep soil intact while also providing barriers to the farmsteads, the crops, and everything in between. There was a lot of success. They planted a lot of great trees, and some of those tree lines still exist to this day. Why aren't you going away? There we go. Are there any more of those? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and grab the chainsaw and see what we can do about branches like that where they protrude over the edge of the field. This is the part where I need my gator. I could always run back and get it. I don't think I want to. I could, but I really don't want to. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of these little end ones because I have to take off like a chunk of the tree to get that. But this one I know I could get rid of. I think this is the one. Yep. Except I probably better trim it back all the way.
12 seconds later.
Wrong branch. Wrong branch. Well, at this rate, we're just going to have to chop that one down. Which other ones? Which other ones? Got this one. There we go. And this one's not terrible, but it's better to stay on top of it than get behind it. Very nice. Let's just see if the skid loader could take that big one down. I'm pretty certain it can. Might help if we cut it down first. I've heard that helps. Come on, JCB. Prove to me you're the best. There we go. My only pet peeve with the forestry mulchers is that if you hit the tree on the bottom, it disintegrates the whole thing in one pass. I like it when it breaks the branches off. Here we go. Maybe. I had it. There it is. Reason number 345 why a telescopic boom makes a difference. I am just tearing this field edge up. I'm gonna have to do some tillage work. That's a good chunk. I should have looked into the forestry cage if I knew I was gonna be doing a bunch of this work. Taking a decent risk that this glass is gonna hold up. That took significantly longer than I thought it would. But we got it. I'm most certainly coming back in with the vertical till. I mean, look what I did. How could I? Uh-oh, I missed one. Just get that taken care of. That one's hanging over quite a bit. Let's do this one as well. Got this one. There might actually be a couple on this tree. Very nice. We'll take this whole corner out. Might take this one off. Just hope that this doesn't destroy the tree. And I think that's about it. And that looks so much better. And I haven't even really taken out the big chunks yet. Another one of the big limbs. Doing these trees is just super satisfying because it kind of goes as what you would think it would look like. So much better. Oh, much better. I'm on you. Don't be stubborn. And this one. Look at that. Plenty of room now. Might have a little problem with that one branch, but that we could fix at a later date. If all else fails, I'll just take those two out of the corner because that's the most likely to clip the combine's auger. My sprayer, I'll just be careful. That's why they have breakaway bars. I'll take care of the rest of the trimming, and I will see you guys back at the dealership so we can get that seed drill bought. I do have some great news about the waterways. They're finally starting to poke through with some new grass. I'm so excited to see how that affects our harvest this upcoming season. I got to talk with Marty on the inside because we are going to get a Starfire, hopefully 6,000 setup for the 8120, as well as getting the purchase for our new seed drill. 40-foot wings, big hopper, nice flotation firestones. I'm pretty excited to take this thing home. Storage is going to be the most interesting part because I didn't do any measurements to see if this could fit in any of my shops. I'm pretty sure my main shop it could fit, but the back Quonset, I don't think it's going in that door. Something I have been hearing about the seed corn plot is that you don't need a 6-row to match the header of the corn picker. So something like the Cyclone planter would not be a bad idea to pick up so we could plant more. But I kind of want to have the spacing gaps, which is why I bought an 8-row Kinsey, made it a 6-row, so we could have the accurate pollen spacings where the crop isn't planted on certain seed corn plots. There's still a lot to do to prep for the seeding season. I know I still have to do the vertical tilling on the corner plot just across from the dealer. So let's get our funds transported over to the dealer, and it'll be on to prepping for planting. Before I forget, that Brett gooseneck that I had, I went and traded it off. I got that same diamond seed that we have on the landscape series. I couldn't justify having as long of a trailer and as heavy duty. And by downsizing to this one, look at how perfect our mower sits on this. We could transport this around the map to do everything we need. And this is the longest thing I'd be putting on this. I already paid Heritage 40 grand for the seed drill, but I held off on doing this tractor yet until we could find out what my available options are. Want the farmers in the chat to let me know down below, how's the harvest going? Have you started yet? Haven't it been a lot of down corn? What's the situation looking like? Grant's corn, even though a bunch of it was down, pulled about 230, 240, and the beans were pushing 85 in at least the plot that we were working in. Weather and crop disease definitely had an influence on his crop's return. But for the most part, my trip to Hilbert Farms really was great. Wife enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I will definitely be going back out there sometime, hopefully soon. Let's check out what options we got for Starfire. Gotta love that green paint subscription tax. So there's a 3,000. Can we get 6,000? Ooh, I can. What about 7? Can I get 7? We can get a 7,000 globe. And I could even get the fancy monitor. Ooh, that'd be nice. Find a way to put that one in the new 8R. This might actually be the tractor I put on the sprayer because I could put the rate controller on it. I think that's good. Oh, that is expensive. But it's looking ahead. $46,000 in modifications later, we have the smartest tractor on the map. I'm 99% certain on Grant's 8110 he has this rate controller. He also has the G5 monitor, and there's one more screen. I can't remember what it was, but it's something for the sprayer or his planter. I think it's something for the planter. But this will be nice in case I need to pull something like my 16-row planter, which does this tractor have enough power? 208. We'd be pushing it. I think it can do it. If we had to, it could do it. Would it be recommended? No. Could it do it? Probably. We'll do a quick size check to see where we're going to have to store this air drill, which it definitely will fit in my main shed. What about the Quonset? That's right. I put the 8R down here. Yes, it will. With, like, flying sword colors. I thought that door was shorter than that. And it's officially settled. I am ready for planting year number 2. I got a lot of checking and prep work in order to get myself ready to plant. So we'll see you guys back in a few months when we are ready to drop the seeders and get planting. While I would love to get started with planting, I gotta finish up my last task at the dealer. Nate's tractor has been ready to go for at least a few weeks, and since he's still gone on his trip, we're gonna get this thing delivered back to his farmstead. Then it's back to the seed shop to get on with our planting. It definitely took a lot longer than we anticipated it. This tractor was just kept throwing more and more issues at us. The IVT did end up having a software issue with the front wheel assist. But unlike anything in life, just resetting the system did not work for us. So our techs had to do a deep dive into the machine, take apart a bunch of different sensors and parts of the wiring harness. And after all said and done, Nate really only owes us for a couple $100 in labor. The rest of it was all covered under warranty. On the topic of when Grant might return to the server, it will likely be when he is done harvesting. It's been a while since Grant's really been on. Yes, we've been making fun of him the last few episodes that he hasn't been in, but he at least has a logical reason. Everybody's going to need all hands on deck when it comes to planting, so this is really why we've been trying to get this tractor back to Nate's as quick as possible. There goes the train, which means I'm not going to have to wait, saving me time and money. I'm sure Nate's going to be real excited to see this thing back on the farmstead. He hasn't confirmed with me if he's going to do anything with the trading up to that 410 that's still sitting on the lot with the tracks. But that's just an issue to resolve when he gets back from his trip. Other than fixing it, we made sure we filled up his tank with diesel, so he is set to go. I should start seeing quite a few more planters popping up in the lot, most of which will already be sold. We're just kind of like the pickup point for the guy who bought it. That finishes me off with the dealer. Let's get the rest of our planters set up. With the purchase of our seed drill, that technically means that the 6-row Kinsey now does not have a tractor to pull it. Well, this is why I was telling Nate that I like to come prepared. With the purchase of the 8120, that means that the only other tractor I still have on the yard is the 6420. A 6-row might be pushing it a little bit with that tractor, but I robbed the Starfire from the 760 in the shop along with the 2600 monitor. So that tractor now has guided steering, and that means every single planting unit besides the 1770 down at the shed is set to go. We just need to get our seed corn into these hoppers and drag the auger over from this bin and hope that it will reach because the wings are too tall to back into this door. This is about the only time I've ever gotten to use this auger. How low can it go? That is going to be a tight fit if it can reach. Come on, baby. I believe in you. I just got to get the prompt that I could start filling. Oh, no. No. I'm going to have to take a box from the wall. That's all right. I thought it was going to be too good to be true. I just got to find the right box. Pretty certain it's this hybrid. Yep, that's the one I'm looking for. I think I completely forgot to show you, but when we jump up into our PDA, we did end up expanding all of our different crop grounds. Uh-oh, I forgot to till those two. Looks like we're not starting planting regular corn today. But we picked up 43, 40, 39, 45. I'm still contemplating buying something up north. Plot 13 would be the most likely candidate. I don't know if I want to buy $231,000 of land. Especially thinking about what this might bring for yield, because I'd likely have to do this plot as corn. We are filling. That takes care of one. Let's get the Kinsey backed up so we can get those ones prepped, and we can start heading over to our plots. Monitor looks a little bright. Alright. Seem to be having an issue. I thought I got this planter ready to go, but apparently it does not take seed. Do we have another 6-row planter? We got this. I think we need something a little bit more sophisticated. Yeah, that'd be nice. Only problem is that is in Kansas City, so we're going to have to haul that one in. I'm going to have to do some finagling with finances and a quick clothing change. Give me just a second. Crisis has been averted. I'm bringing it down to the test plot so we can get the GPS set up correctly. My wife is currently over in the 8R doing the vertical tilling. But let's go ahead and see what the lines look like. Here's our track. 4.2. No, that will not work. We need to put this up to like 6.7. A little wide. Let's run 6. Man, maybe even a little smaller. Let's do my height, 5'7". I think that's right on the money. If anything, that's 1 row in between. So 5.7. I'll probably get started planting corn on my farm in the next episode. I just want to tackle the seed corn plot and the soybean plot. Very nice. I don't want 3 headlands. I only want 2. That way I just have enough turnaround room. I'm not going to plant the headlands. I just want the up and down rows, but I also have to figure out the best way to harvest this. That's probably about the best way it's going to get. I just kind of don't like how we're going to have to go through the waterways sideways. But hey, we never know until we try, right? Here we go. First round of seed corn going in the dirt. Yeah, I think that is exactly a row, if not 2 apart. That's what I wanted. I just got to check the depth. Spacings look good, and our depth could be adjusted a little bit. Let's keep planting. To the seed corn people in the comments, I'm going to be working on a project that will hopefully make your lives a lot less strenuous while watching me do this. Next season, I'm hoping to invest in something that will make this operation go through the roof, but it's also going to take up a lot more space, and it's going to cost me quite a bit of money. I will cover that topic later in the season when we're getting ready to start harvesting. But for this specific seed cycle, I'm just going to run the setup that I have because that's what I was able to jerry-rig together to make work best. How's the wife coming along? Oh, she's doing pretty good. I have to fix this part right on the opening and kind of up by the tree line. But she's ripping along nicely. Good job, honey. Making really great progress. It looks fantastic. I know this is going to turn out looking beautiful. My wife finished up at the north plot. I'm going to send her down south. I really thought the 6420 might have a little bit more struggles pulling this, but it seriously has been a champ. It really does feel great when I have the ability to make things work. When we started the farm, I was kind of concerned with the 8345R having to do all of the different jobs, but time has obviously proven that it doesn't. I've acquired the equipment I need, and we're doing the tasks we need to do. Just gotta watch this to make sure we can shut it off, and we'll flip around. If I spaced it out just a little bit more, our PDA would probably look a little bit cleaner. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to try and get in touch with the guys over at Corteva to see if we can get a irrigation pivot put out on this. Want to make sure that that product I'm supplying to the community does come out as good as possible. And really the only way to guarantee that is if you supply your own resources, aka water. The only issue is those pivots are very expensive. So I might just get one that covers this entire plot and then has a sprinkler system and then kind of gets a little bit of plot 40. We'll just have to make sure there's no obstructions against that tree line when it stores. And that is a wrap for the seed corn. We'll just set a couple of those there. There's always like 40 of these alongside of a field edge, I swear. If you can't tell this field has Whipples planted in it, you might be blind. Let's test out this new G5 monitor and just see how good this thing really is. Got the crop signs behind my seat. Oh, I forgot to whoops. Got to close that. I guess it'll kind of be pointless to run the Navi, but might as well check it out. Go ahead and line that up. Vacuum on. Let's drill. Very nice. We're definitely going through a bit more beans than we did the corn, but we're also planting at about 2 to 3 times the width. Tractor is pulling beautifully, and that will complete our first loop. Let's see. Oh, just a little bit in the corner. I am going to make a modification. Doing 2 headlands seems pointless on this. I'm just going to do 1. Yeah, that makes a little more sense. I'm more curious to see how well this drill does when we get to the waterways when you have to see the wings dip. How well does that cover? Guess I really only have room for 1. The only thing I worry about with having this drill versus my planter is the ability to come in and spray. Because the drill plants it in more of a patch, yes, the plant does canopy more, protecting it from getting weeds. Now I don't have a driving lane. I'm gonna have to make the tram lines and kill the crop, unless I have crop destruction off. Either way, you get the point. I'll probably do our other test plot of beans in field 39, and then these 2 will be corn, and then once my wife gets going again down on field 45, this will also be beans. And that plot 13 is looking real tempting now, because I really do need more corn ground. Find out next time on Bucked Up Farming. Does Buck spend $200,000 on farmland? Oh, looks like my wife actually got called in to work. So I will go finish the vertical tilling. That way we can set up the planter and just get ready for next time. Alright, let's get this show on the road. The only other piece of ground that I could dedicate to a bean plot would be the co-op ground that Nate let me rent. That ground's gonna have to be beans anyway. Might as well use it for that. Just when I thought I could escape the tillage, it comes back to haunt me. I feel like this thing's gonna come in handy a lot more times than I think. I need to do this to the combine. The real kicker is, can I get this thing out without having to move or shuffle over the cart? Come on, buddy. I believe in you. Yes! I've done a little bit of prep work on the planter, but I'm also gonna have more room down here because if I take up too much real estate at the dealer, that blocks my ability to fill orders. I believe that's all the time we're going to have for you guys today on Bucked Up Farming. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to check out the rest of the playlist as it grows at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can do that now. Be sure to check in next time when we get started with the planting of corn and finishing off the rest of our seed corn plots as well as the bean plots. Remember to keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh, and most importantly, keep it fun. We shall see you guys all in the next one. This is the Rental Man out. Peace.